I would like to introduce our county commissioner, who's also the chair of the commissioners. He's from District 2, Chris Hall. He won election with over 70% of the vote.
Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for having me. I haven't been here. I need to say how thankful I am that I'm not campaigning. But no, it's been a good job. And before I get started, Father Orsi says that he gets the last word, but actually Dot does. So that's my wife, Dot, right there. But no, I was glad to come because a lot of things have gone on in the county, and it's a good job. And, if you knew me in the campaign, I didn't have any political experience. I didn't know anything about anything other than I was passionate about what was right because it was right. And I ran on basically just principles and just simple things like I wanted smaller government. I wanted less taxes. I wanted the people to be able to choose what was right for themselves. The Constitution gives the power to the people, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to get that back. I wanted to be instrumental and influential with workforce housing in Collier County because of the need. And after COVID, most of all, I wanted to bring common sense back to decision making. So those were the principles. And like Kathy said, the people were gracious. They voted for me overwhelmingly on those principles. And I've tried hard in the last year and a half to uphold those and to keep those. Collier County-wise, things that have happened. We have passed a Medical Freedom Bill of Rights, so no one will ever tell you again. Thank you. I am going to come back, Father Worcy. You can come back with me. But no, nobody will ever tell you again what you have to do. And we've passed a Bill of Rights protection, that our Bill of Rights will always be protected in Collier County. And we've done that by ordinance to give our sheriff the teeth that he needs to support that. If you ask the public who's the most powerful man in America, probably 99% or somewhere up there close is going to say the President of the United States. And that is not true by far. The most powerful man in America is your county sheriff. If you have a constitutional sheriff, they can stop any government agency from coming in here and violating what you know are your rights. So I'm thankful to say today that we have a very good constitutional sheriff. And I'm proud to have Sheriff Rambosk. One of the first things that I did is I restructured the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. I'm a business guy, have no idea about government, but in business, when you have a problem, you fix it. And you don't fix it by continuing to talk about the problem. So the chair at the time just continued to pander and continued to talk about the problem and to bring it publicly and and he was in every magazine article. Anyway, we asked him to step down. We got a new chair for that advisory committee, and I'm proud to say that in a year and a half, we've made great strides in Collier County to, number one, get government out of the way. We've made it easy for developers to develop property by right. We passed 4 initiatives that said, you have by right any place that's zoned commercial. This was before the Live Local Act. You have by right any place that's zoned commercial to build affordable housing. We're going to increase your density in activity centers. Activity centers are busy intersections where commercial goes on. Think of Airport Road and Vanderbilt. Think of Pine Ridge right here. You have by right to increase the density from 16 units per acre to 25 units per acre. Any strategic opportunity areas the same way, you get to go to 25 units per acre. And the last initiative was anything that was along a CAT transit route, you got to increase the density as well too. And you can do that by right. You didn't have to ask. And then came Live Local. Live Local said that, builders could do anything that they wanted to do. They had the density that was the highest density in the county. They could build, the highest building within a mile. And just last Tuesday, we, all of us unanimously voted to interpret that law, meaning just hard commercial zone, and it does not include planned unit developments or mixed-use planned unit developments. So you have to, we just determined that to mean straight hard zone property. So that's really good for developers to know where they stand, and we're making great strides. We just approved the extension for financing for the large Golden Gate rural housing development. I did talk to Mr. Kirk this week. He's doing well with that. He thinks he's gonna make that deadline, and he's still doing battle with the FDEP, which is big government. We got to get those people out of the way. But anyway, he's doing well. So affordable housing is on the move. We have, common sense wise, we had pot shops wanting to, create shops that wanted to sell marijuana. And we just said, hey, not in Collier County. So we passed that ordinance. You can get it elsewhere, but we're not gonna open that up here. Conservation Collier. We're accused of trying to smash that program or kill that program. I say we. I was. One of the things that I wanted to do was tax the people less. And in a way to do that was we had to take a stand at some point in time. And so what we did is we took some money from Conservation Collier that was not being used. In 10 years, it was there. I mean, it was just sitting in the bank. So we used $53 million of that money, and we put it towards our budget so that we could take a hard stance and put the cart before the horse to fund our budget for 2024, and then as a result of that, come back in and do the really hard work of cutting spending and limiting this government machine that just continues to eat and eat and eat. So for the first time in 13 years, we did not raise taxes on the people of Collier County property-wise. Thank you. And in the process, we've fully funded Conservation Collier, and that program is alive and well, and we have some things coming up in the near future that we're going to purchase. And so hopefully those people are happy. But I'm really proud of the fact that we've took a deep dive in on our budget, and we're going to do the hard work. We've actually hired a third-party company to come in and do the intense study in all of our processes to get us streamlined, to eliminate the duplicity, to look at where we have too many chiefs, not enough Indians, to look at where we have too many Indians and not enough money to pay for them. So we're going to do the hard work, and that's in process, and they will be here at the later part of this month to meet with us, and they've already been in process with staff. So we're looking forward to seeing what they would come to find. ResourceX, by the way, has extensive knowledge in dealing with governmental entities. So it wasn't like we just willy-nilly went out and found somebody. We went out and found somebody that's really good at finding the money and finding places to limit spending for the taxpayers. One of the things that Dot and I took on for 2024, we always take a look at our, inward and say, what do we want to focus on in 2024? And one of the words was influence. We really wanted to have influence, and not just to go through the motions in a job or not to go through the motions in a community, but we wanted to have influence. And one of those ways that influence comes is by being principled. And I really want to commend this group of women for calling yourselves Republican women and for taking the stance of being conservative, being bold, and being principled, and being loud about it. There's other groups that they've removed that label. They don't want to be labeled that. They either don't want to comply with the rules of the Republican Party of Florida, or maybe there's principle differences. But I want to commend this group for holding on to that name and loudly declaring it. and having influence. You know, there's Father Horsey mentioned the Amendment 4. Commissioner Saunders always says words matter. The liberal left has used words to confuse the language on that ballot. We love limited government, right? You hear limited government, that's good. Their proposal, their amendment says limit government access is the first three words. But then it goes on to say to affect women's health. So the wording itself is super misleading, it's super deceptive, and we need to get that word out to everyone that we know, all of your neighbors, the people you play tennis, pickleball with, the people you shop with. They need to know those things. We had an amendment that we had an amendment to counter that, didn't get the signatures. We are living a time, people, that it's not time to sleep. It's not time to live life normal. It's not time to go about what you do, what you go about doing. We live in a time where you have to take a stand. You know, that old song says, if you don't stand for something, then you'll fall for anything. And I say never apologize for the values that you hold. You know, one of the things that as a candidate, you had to run around town doing forums and stuff. And one of them was with Greater Naples. And, you know, you as a candidate, you want the endorsement, you want the backing of an outfit called Greater Naples. But I was asked a question in my interview. Well, Mr. Hall, you can tell who was asking me the question. You state that you want to do what's right because it's right. I said, yes, ma'am. Well, what determines what's right? I said, oh my gosh, that's the easiest question I've ever been asked in my life. I said, the Bible determines what's right. I didn't get their endorsement. And another thing, you know, I say words matter. If you have to say that you're nonpartisan, you're partisan. If you have to say that you're nonpartisan, you're not conservative. Have you ever heard a conservative say, I'm non-liberal? No. They know exactly where you stand, why you stand, and the reasons for it. You never have to ask somebody that's principled conservatively where they stand. So as, you know, as the left moves forward in this country, we have to realize their tactics, that they use your words against you, and they say things that sound good, but they're not good. And the Bible does say that in Revelations, I would that you would be hot or cold. But if you're lukewarm, I'm going to spew you out of my mouth. Those are words of Jesus. And in Ecclesiastes, it says, a wise man's heart leads him to the right. A fool's heart leads him to the left. That's biblical. So now is not the time to back up, slack up, or be in neutral. Now's the time to take a stand. Let your peers know where you're at. Put it on social media. Be bold about it, because we have too much to lose. We have a country to lose if we don't. Thank you for your time.